Hi there, I am back with part 2 on types of addiction in this Nature of Addiction series. In part 1, I spoke to 4 categories of addiction and different types of addiction within each category. Those 4 categories were the addiction to flavoring in food, addiction to stories on screens, addiction to euphoria from certain plants, and the addiction to the escape through drugs. Now in part 2, I will share another 4 categories, naming a total of 8 categories. As I mentioned, this is not a complete list, and that is because people can become addicted to about anything, with new types of addictions popping up and old ones emerging all the time. My objective is to illustrate a variety of different ways that addiction sets in across society to 1, break the stigma of addiction as being only related to drugs, and 2, to help you and others to identify where addiction is in your life. The cost of addiction to our lives is pretty much everything that we came here for. Although relying on addictive things can provide relief and benefit in the short term, over the long term, addiction becomes the opposition to our ascension. It is the phenomenon that puts and keeps people asleep, lowering and lowering standards and manipulating one's desires in life. But one of the things that I like about heavy addiction, such as alcohol and drug addiction, or any kind of severe addiction, is that it gets people's attention. It creates a life and death scenario that cannot be ignored, forcing a person to either accept a lesser fate and an early death, forfeiting the fulfillment of the soul's journey, or to use this experience as an opportunity to transform and discover one's true self and the ultimate purpose of the human experience. Softer addictions now suppress the human spirit and soul to a more subtler degree throughout life, which means most people are not dealing with their soft addictions because they're just easier to manage and the consequences are easier to cover up. But still, the life of the human is robbed. So whether addiction shows up mildly, moderately, or severely, the cost of staying in an addiction is about everything. I share categories and types of addiction as motivation for you to look within and identify where addiction lurks within your life, because freedom from addiction starts the path of the true self. So now I'll present the second half of the categories that I started in part 1, moving next into number 5, addiction to things and money. This category of addiction regards all the other material world addictions, that is, the things people get attached and then addicted to. People are addicted to consuming, shopping, and having things in general. Examples of things people can become addicted to are things like money, devices, as I formerly spoke of, clothes, shoes, accessories, and jewelry, coins, gems, and collectibles, gadgets, tools, shop and home goods, antiques, furnishings, and artwork, bikes, motorcycles, and cars, and so on. Again, there are attachments to these things, and then there are addictions, where the obsession, compulsion, and dependence on these things is much higher. Zooming in on money-related addictions specifically, there are many different personality types when it comes to money addictions. For example, the moneymaker, the deal chaser, the compulsive spender, the broke victim, the budget obsessor, the penny pincher, the financial enabler, the money manipulator, the money or material collector, and the money worshiper. Here a person develops an obsession to accumulating, spending, or saving money to the point of losing some part of themselves. Having money or having power and control over things that money can buy helps people to feel in control to compensate for areas of feeling out of control. Money comes with a lot of perks, and it gives a sense of freedom, independence, choice, superiority, and status. The stakes can get really high with money or money-related addictions. These addictions can destroy marriages and families, devastate careers, lead to bankruptcy, loss of property, enormous debt, having to refinance one's home, maxing out credit cards, having to take out loans from the bank or family, or having to hide from bill collectors. Money-related addictions can tarnish a person's reputation, squash self-worth, and drain a person of any sense of joy, meaning, or ambition. The stress alone can greatly diminish and deteriorate a person's quality of life, lead to other addictions, and in some cases, lead to suicide. Financial stress or obsession is not to be underestimated. It is one of the biggest stressors in many people's lives. And addiction to things in general ties into all of this. Now, having money, pursuing money, or being very conscious about spending versus saving does not make someone addicted. Most people have a healthy or at least reasonable relationship to money and things. However, there are those people that do become addicted to money or things to varying degrees, meaning that they will spend more and more time, energy, and money than they have to spend despite the negative consequences. Whether addiction to things and money create financial burdens or tension in relationships, or whether they are actually toxic and perpetuating other issues and attachments, when someone is addicted, they will continue to collect or hold on to particular things. And this starts in childhood, such as becoming attached to a pacifier or a blankie, and then it continues throughout life in different forms. Things can provide a sense of comfort, purpose, and structure in life. When someone is addicted, they may not feel those same feelings or be able to relieve those same feelings without that particular thing. A person has become addicted to one or more things when they depend on these things to feel and function in a certain way, and when they cannot go without them. So it helps to draw awareness to the things that you include in your life, such as what do they mean to you? What function do they hold? What kind of energy do they carry? In what way might they be blocking you from developing another ability? And what is their overall impact in your life? All right, turning to the next category of addiction, number 6, the eminence of ego. The eminence of ego relates to addictions of the ego. These are the addictions people hold within oneself to maintain a particular identity, narrative, feeling, and sense of okayness, connection, and purpose, or even to maintain more static, powerful, and blissful states impenetrable by discomfort and hardship. Addictions of the ego are things like addiction to one's own image, reputation, and status, addiction to popularity, likes, and followers, addiction to having more than others or feeling superior, addiction to being in control or self-righteousness, addiction to being right, having knowledge, and achieving, addiction to performance and strength, addiction to working out, or avoiding work. People are addicted to themselves and being seen, addicted to their beliefs, power, pursuits, self-interest, and personal gain. People will forgo their true self for fame in the moment. This could also include addictions to negativity, complaining, and worrying, or addictions to fantasizing, manifesting, or daydreaming. Everyone has attachments of the ego that develop and dissolve throughout life. Ego addictions are a part of the egoic journey, an attempt at self-vindication and personal significance. Addictions of the ego are particularly entangled with one's daily mindset and lifestyle, consuming a good amount of energy and consciousness in a negative way. People are addicted when they cannot be in these ways, regardless of the negative consequences. Whether people are in denial of their shortcomings or whether a person simply cannot stop doing it, the behavior excites and rewards the ego, helping a person to feel good in who they are and what they are capable of. There is great opportunity in understanding addictions of the ego, which, by the way, are the most pronounced control patterns within one's egoic consciousness that run the show over the wisdom of the true self. So just in paying attention to these strong impulses and patterns and the obsessive need to weave them into every conversation and scenario will help to release these binds. To integrate positive change, it starts with awareness and then continues with a less attached and more truthful way of being within oneself. All right, now moving to the next category of addiction, which is number 7, drama with others. This category regards the addictions to other people. People get addicted to acting out dramatic scenarios with others based on each person's unresolved stuff, control patterns, and attachments. As a people, we have addictions within ourselves. We have addictions to things, and we also have addictions to other people. Meaning is derived through the drama and plot of life. The narratives and scenario that make up each person's drama create the experiences for people to work their stuff out. But this drama becomes people. People become addicted to their beliefs, their emotions, and their behaviors, lost in this emotional drama without purpose. Drama addictions are things like love and sex addiction, codependency, addiction to playing the victim or being the rescuer, addiction to hurting others, addictions to judgment, comparing, gossip, and venting to others. This could also include addictions to popularity, getting validated, and being on top of others. And this could also include addictions to things like networking and meeting as many people as possible and always being at the cool events. There are lots of ways that addiction to drama plays out. This drama creates a sense of belongingness and connection and purpose for people. Even in division and conflict, people find meaning and purpose. When particular needs or feelings are met through this drama, people become addicted to creating similar situations to experience these same feelings again. Typically, this relates to something unresolved within oneself, so they continue to act out the drama for temporary relief, but fail to resolve the core issue in this unconscious behavior. The opportunity in learning about addictions to creating dramatic scenarios with others, whether these circumstances feel positive and worthwhile or conflicting intense, is to observe what is driving these patterns underneath and what is the effectiveness of your method to resolve these things through the drama of life. As a people, we can raise our consciousness to how we show up within the collective drama, which better positions us to help co-create scenarios for true healing and resolution. All right, turning to the last category now, number 8, addiction to the rush in thrills. The addiction to thrills is a category in and of itself. There are people around the globe addicted to the adrenaline rush and thrills, always finding more ways to release adrenaline, often through risky and dangerous activities which cause people to crash after for long periods of time. Risky behavior associated with addiction can look like a death wish, with more and more people engaging in dangerous activities. Some people are even intentionally trying to take their lives through addiction, constantly daydreaming about death and dying and seeing how far they can take things. For instance, overdose deaths and suicide involving drug addiction continues at epidemic proportions. Examples of addiction to thrills are things like addiction to gaming, gambling, sports betting, speed racing, skydiving, extreme sports, and extreme adventures like treasure hunting, ghost hunting, or crime and terrorist tracking. People can also become addicted to the thrills of chaos, which could include putting oneself at risk, such as having affairs, cutting oneself, drinking and driving, or jumping off bridges. This could also include addictions to stealing, violence, any kind of abuse, committing crimes, starting fires, or addiction to extreme things alike. The addiction to thrills could include a whole conglomeration of other addictions, increasing the risk of these addictions even more. Not only is a person consequenced with the normal cost of addiction, such as spending too much money, or not having enough time, or experiencing conflict in relationships, or just continuing to prioritize the high over self-care, but the addictive behavior to thrills in general can bring an added layer of danger to a person. However, for these people, the rush and adrenaline of thrill-seeking fulfills something inside that cannot be reached any other known way. So the risks and dangers on top of the consequences are worth the chemical reaction that unfolds inside the mind and body through these peak experiences. The issue is when these addictions go unnoticed and unchecked, because it is in this space that they progress, and eventually to the point of complete self-destruction, never to experience one's own true path. But it is through awareness and integration that people can come to understand what is driving these behaviors and what it will take to resolve the underlying core issues so that they can achieve a higher and higher state. The opportunity here is similar: to observe and better understand this behavior, to explore areas for core healing and healthier, more efficient ways to experience the peak highs in life. Addictive behaviors are solution-focused behaviors. So, through self-observation, one can come to understand what they are actually trying to resolve and learn to choose methods to better support short-term relief and long-term healing and transformation. In summary, there are any number of different categories for addiction and many different types of addiction within each category. People can become addicted to just about anything. Although the type of addiction can provide insight into underlying issues and recovery strategies, it is not about the thing or behavior itself. And this is because true resolution can only be found within. Having any kind of addiction is a signal for something unresolved within you. As a people, we grab onto whatever works and then we become addicted to it. Lastly, remember that simply having these things or doing these acts does not make a person addicted. Many people partake in eating, sex, and television, for instance. What classifies these things and activities as addictions are the uncontrollable obsessive thoughts, followed by the compulsive action taken again and again despite negative consequences to a person's mental, emotional, social, physical, spiritual, and personal well-being. The opportunity in recognizing all the different types of addiction is to help identify where addiction resides within you. Through awareness of these patterns and attachments, especially as they progress to a more extreme form, you can start to integrate these insights and choose healthier alternatives. Just remember that awareness plus integration equals transformation. Now, to integrate these last two episodes, identify addictive patterns or addictions in your life. Observe and process the impact of each one, and integrate positive changes through this self-awareness and self-understanding. As always, thank you for watching and sharing your experiences below. I will see you in the next episode on the manifestations of addictions in regard to one's mindset, personality, and lifestyle.